One of the final steps to moving from one computer to the next is removing your old hard drive and placing it in as a slave drive to the new computer. Now this is the old computer I have here. There's nothing wrong with this computer. I'm actually going to take this hard drive. I don't know if you can see it right here or not. This is the hard drive. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to show you how to do this. And then when I do, I'm going to place it in the new computer as a slave drive, take out all the data, and then I'm going to format it. I'm going to format this drive here, then I'm going to put it back in here, and then I'm going to install Vista back into this computer and give it to my friend. Okay? If you're moving up to a new chassis and new equipment, take your hard drive out, get all your data out of it, and then put it back in, format it with a copy of Windows, and give it to your friend. Or sell it to your friend. I don't care. In this case, I'm going to give it to my friend because she has been so nice to me, and so therefore I'm going to do this nice thing for her. Alright, now how are we going to do this? Alright. This is the hard drive right here that we're going to take out. And I don't see any screws on this side, so it's pretty much screwed in on the other side. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. Now before I do, I'm going to show you this thing. Let's get down dirty in here. I hope we can do this. May have to get a flashlight. Let's get a flashlight in here. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to clean this up before I give it to my friend. There, yeah, you can see this. You'll notice there are 4 little red things. One of them's here. Hopefully you can see this. I don't want to do any damage here. There are 4 little red things. I'm putting my finger right above one of them now. There's 1, 2, and if you look under here, there's 3 and 4 over here. Those are SATA connectors, okay? Now, I talked about SATA hard drives in a previous video. This is where you would connect your SATA hard drive to your motherboard. This is your motherboard right here, and this is your SATA hard drive connector, okay? And you'll see there are 4 of them. 1, 2, and there's 2 more underneath. Now what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the hard drive. I'm going to disconnect it from this side, mainly because we're going to put this back in here eventually, and then boom, so on and so forth, and we'll carry on from there. Point is, this hard drive has 2 connectors. One is the SATA, disconnect it. 2 is the power supply. And you just gently kind of rock it and rock and roll it and so on and so forth until finally it now popped out. See, the 2 wires are popped out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this case over. Now I did want to show you this before I flip the case over. You see how the CPU is over here? You'll see a lot of dust here, and if you could see it, there's dust over here too. Before you give your case to somebody else, you know, you give all this garbage to well, not garbage necessarily, but you give all this stuff to somebody else. Make sure you clean it up. That way they start fresh. I know a lot of people don't do that, and that's very shameful of them. So we're not going to do that on this particular case. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. Not at this moment, but I am going to clean this up, and then therefore when I give it away, boom, it'll be set. This is your graphics card here. I have a sound card in here. I will be buying a sound card for my new computer at some point. I just don't know when. We have a DVD burner up here, and it was kind of the top of the line, state-of-the-art at the time I bought this. It's not now, but that's the way of technology. Anyway, hang on just a second, folks. I'm just going to kind of put this right over here. I know it's kind of black here for the second. I'm going to flip over my computer, and as you'll see here, see that screw? We have to unscrew it to get this hard drive out, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now we should be doing this with an anti-static wrist strap, but In this case, it's just the hard drive. We're not going to be messing with the motherboard, so it's not that big a deal. Alright, hang on just 1 second while I unscrew this. The nice thing about YouTube is that now they let you have 15 minutes to discuss something, which is, in this case, more than adequate and enough time to discuss something like this. And if I have to, I will split this video up. Alright, we're going to slide this hard drive out very carefully, because we don't want to damage the wires. Remember, we are going to give this computer away at some point. Ah, there we go. So we don't want to damage the wires any. And voila! This is the hard drive we are pulling out. Okay, you can see connectors right here. Now what we're going to do is, in just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and in just a moment I'm going to install it in my new computer, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Stay tuned. Now this is my new computer, and as you'll see right here, there were two screws right here and right here, and I had to remove them, and then I had to take a butter knife like this, and I'm going to show this to you in just a second. I had to insert the butter knife, and I had to press down on a little lever down here to pop out this entire chassis so that I could get to the hard drive. Now I'm going to put my camera down for just a second, and I will pop this out, and I will show you then how to do all this. I need more than two hands, obviously. Okay, so hang on just a second. Okay, down here you will actually see the little pop-up thing. It's a little thing right down. Hang on just a second. We don't want to damage this thing. Motherboard's right underneath, so we don't want to really damage it. But I guess you can't really see it unless I move this over just a little bit more. Move it over. There. Aha. Okay, right about here, somewhere along in here, there's a little piece I pushed down on, and I'm not getting it too well here, but it's right about here, and you push it down and it clicks into place. Now what we're going to do, this is where the hard drives are stored, and as you can see, they're kind of like that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's where the hard drives are stored. I'm going to go ahead and put my other hard drive in. Hopefully I'll have this connected right, and it'll be a slave drive. The first thing you want to do on a slave drive like this is to lock it in place, and you will have screws. At least I do. Well, you can't hardly see anything at this point, but we are locking this into place. And I'm going to show you the finished product in just a second. Matter of fact, why don't we just... Now you can kind of see me. See my screwdriver? Okay, now I'm going to shift to the other side here. We're going to lock this into place. Now we don't want to really do too much, because if we really screw around with this, we could damage the cords, which in turn could damage any hope of putting this thing back together. We don't want to do that. So, gotta be really careful about all this. Okay. Hopefully this works the way I hope it will. Okay, next I'm going to connect the two wires. Uh-oh. That's never good. Okay, this connects to this. Okay, and this one will connect to this. And then we'll connect this wire to this. hopefully I'm not doing too much damage here. We'll get this sucker locked back into place. You have to do this extraordinarily carefully. There we go. Then we put our screws back into position. And with any luck, we haven't pressed any cords or nothing. You always want to make sure everything's kind of connected and put in the right position, and then you're not bunging up cords or nothing, because let me tell you something, you run one thing on a board like this and boy, you're toast. So you got to be really careful. One of the nice things about Hewlett-Packard is that it does use an ASUS board, which is always nice. Okay, and it's using an Intel chip, which is always nice. Not thrilled with the architecture of this thing, but okay, now you can see this is all back in place, nice and neat. No cords are scrunched together, I don't think. Don't look like it to me. I'm not thrilled about the front USBs, but that's a different story. Okay, it looks like everything seems to be intact and all in place. Alright, now I'm going to shut this off, and then I'm going to finish the connections here, and we're going to turn this baby on and see what happens. Alright, I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.